everyone, and welcome to First Strike, your go-to show for all things sports here at FAMU. I am Taylor Adams, a third-year broadcast journalism scholar from Orlando, Florida, and today we have a jam-packed show. Welcome back, Sydney Simone Bellamy. We are so happy that you are back with us for this episode.
Thank you.
And welcome to two special guests. We have Jalen Scott and Brandon Scobie. We would love for y'all to introduce yourselves, and please tell us y'all favorite teams.
I would like to say thank you for having me on the show. Greetings, I am Jalen Scott, a second-year broadcast journalism scholar from Tampa, Florida. My favorite team is the Miami Heat.
Okay.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Brandon Scobie. I'm a third-year broadcast journalism major from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and my favorite team is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The Oklahoma City is doing really good right now. They're
Really
on a
good.
all-time
He's got
high.
it too good. You see
Yes.
him sitting there all happy. There's nothing to be happy about right now as a Heat fan.
Let's get into it, starting off with Florida A&M football. Spring football is officially underway here at the highest of Seven Hills, and there are many position battles that we need to keep our eyes on, but none more critical than a quarterback position. With former quarterback Daniel Richardson off to the pros, FAMU will use the spring to see where they stand. Is the answer to FAMU's QB's problem currently on the roster, or should they hit the portal for their next signal caller? Who do you all believe? Do you think the QB's here already, or do you think they need to go ahead and keep calling people? Sydney?
I think with it being the first day of spring practice, it's too early to tell if the QB is here. I do think that they need to continue looking in the portal. I know Junior is back. I don't know. Maybe he'll be the answer this time. Maybe this will be his year to finally start as QB1. I'm not sure. The other three that did practice today, I'm not sure about them either, but I think they should keep looking.
Yes, and the other three are Tyler Jefferson is a transfer from Central Michigan. We have another transfer, Roman Purcell from Indiana, and then the other returning QB is Traven Green.
Yeah.
If history tells us one thing, it's that FAMU often looks in the portal for their next quarterback. We can date that back to Jeremy Musa, obviously he's transferred from Hawaii. So I would say that if they're continuing the trend of wanting to develop new quarterbacks, kind of have somebody that fits into the system already, they're going to look in the portal. You already have Junior Maritovich. He's aware of how the program runs and the offense that they want to instill. However, I'm not really sure with his skill set if that's what we need moving forward. We do have a young receiving core. You kind of want somebody who's also going to be able to stick with them throughout their time here at FAMU. I look no further than Tyler Jefferson. Obviously, we got Daniel Richardson from FAU, who was also at Central Michigan before that. His stat line isn't the largest, but I think that under Henry Burris, he'll be able to develop as a quarterback and continue to thrive in this offensive system.
Okay, Brandon?
Yeah, it's still too early. It's spring ball. It's day one. But spring ball, that's the perfect time to evaluate, to see what you have on the roster. I'm not sure if the answer at QB is on the roster right now. I think we should look in the portal as well. But again, it's too early. So, I mean, once we get more information, once we have more practices, I think we'll have a better understanding. I believe Maritovich should be the starter right now just because he's been here the longest. He knows the playbook. He knows the system. But only time will tell, so.
Okay, I was actually just about to ask that. You know, with Junior Maritovich being here the longest, he's had to play behind Jeremy Musa and Daniel Richardson. Since he knows the system so well and he still hasn't been starting, what does he need to do to make sure that he is the starting quarterback this upcoming season?
Henry Burris stepping into the new offensive coordinator role and assistant head coach. He was promoted from the offensive line. He worked with quarterbacks previously, and he was part of the coaching development that made the decision between him and Daniel Richardson last year. Now, obviously, we found out they made their QB1 decision the first game against Norfolk State. So I would look to say that later in the season, later as we get closer to the first game, we'll get a better answer as to where that comes from. But seniority may not be the biggest issue here because, again, Daniel Richardson, although he had seniority elsewhere outside the team, was a more complete quarterback in what we needed. He was able to run the ball. He was able to open up plays on offense. So I think that may be a continuous trend. Hopefully I'm wrong. Obviously, Junior Maritovich has spent his time behind multiple quarterbacks. So I'd love to see him get his opportunity.
Absolutely. Sydney, Brandon, y'all have any thoughts?
I agree with everything he said. We know that Coach Cozy said it came down to one play between Daniel Richardson and Junior last year. So we'll see where it goes this year. I do still have hope in Tyler Jefferson, though, even though, like we said, his stats weren't the best.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with everything y'all said.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know that spring practice is going to keep racking up until the spring game, April 12th.
12th.
Yes, so we're definitely going to see how the guys do when it comes to the spring game. Going to Florida A&M women's softball. It's off to a rough start this season. Although there's plenty of time to turn it around, should we be concerned about how the Lady Rattlers have looked to start off the season? Sydney.
I am a little concerned. I think naturally it is just a little concerning. But if you look at even the way they started last season, even though we're under a completely different coaching staff, that pre-conference schedule is tough, obviously. And the numbers are a little bit of the same, like almost the same as far as the games that they lost last year and games that they lost this year going into conference schedule. So I'm a little concerned, but then again, I still have hope. Half of the roster is new. So
Right.
it should be interesting. I do think that they've done a lot of good bonding, especially with their new coach, and she's very committed to them. So we'll see. We'll see. First game against
Today, yeah.
Alabama State, so we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
I think we, as supporters of FAMU softball, kind of have to level our expectations. Again, they have a new coach. They have half of a new roster. But you have players like Zaranya Hughes, who's a preseason SWAC. She had preseason SWAC honors. Right now, she's at 420 with her pitching, which isn't exactly the best. But again, against tougher pre-conference opponents, it's about what you're looking for. I know Brianna Duggins has been slugging it right now, and hopefully she'll be able to continue doing that, especially going on to the conference. Again, they play Alabama State currently right now, so we'll get a score update here soon.
Yeah. Brandon?
I think there is a little bit of concern. Obviously, we're in a non-conference schedule. We play a lot of bigger and tougher opponents, so the record isn't too surprising. But I think the offense could be a little bit better. We haven't scored a run in 5 of our losses. 3 of our losses, we only scored 1 run. But I do think we're in conference play now. We've got some games under our belt. So I think with this weekend series against Alabama State, I think this is the perfect time to get back on track.
Absolutely. I completely agree with everybody here at the table with today starting conference play and, of course, going against their old coach, Kimmy Patterson. That's a big deal, playing here at home against our old coach that left to Alabama State. Yes, open up the season like that. So we're definitely going to have to wrap back around for our next episode and see how they play this week in conference play against Alabama State and upcoming games. After the break, we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and NFL star Myles Garrett. More after that, after the break. Welcome back to First Strike. We have some certified ball knowers up here at the table. Welcome back, Anthony Perkins. We're so happy to have you here for this episode. And we have special guests here today. If y'all could please introduce yourselves and tell us y'all favorite teams.
I am Donnie Weatherspoon, a fourth-year broadcast journalism scholar and a sports MMJ for FAMU TV 20. And my favorite team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we go.
You have to say all that. Here goes the Dallas Cowboys thing. Okay.
Cowgirls. My
Okay,
bad.
we're not, okay, like why we can't get into it right now.
Hi, my name is Johan Miles. I'm a third-year broadcasting journalism major from Miami Gardens, Florida. And my favorite team at the time is Miami Heat. We're not doing too well right now, but give us a couple years to rebuild. We should be good.
That's okay. I'm very excited to talk in NBA and NFL with y'all. I'm ready to hear y'all thoughts. With more than 10 games under each team's belt since the blockbuster trade that sent NBA megastar Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for superstar Anthony Davis, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for the Dallas Mavericks. Is this trade already a failure? And what is the future of the Mavericks front office? Donnie, we'll start off with you.
Okay. To me, I would say that it's too early to call it a failure, but when you have your number 2 guy go down, when you have the guy that you traded for go down, and now you're just stuck with Max Christie and some backup guys, you're in trouble. And then you got Luka Doncic and LeBron playing team ball. They both went crazy last night, and they literally led the team last night. 32 points from Luka Doncic, 31 points from LeBron. So, I mean, at this point, yeah, you're losing, and it looks bad in the front office, from the front office standpoint.
Definitely. From my take, I feel like the Lakers have been doing really, really well, and I think they won the trade ultimately. Like, so far, since they've had the 2 exchanges of trade, the Dallas Mavericks have been 6-7, and then the Lakers have been 11-2, I believe. So it's really bad. It's really sad to see that like AD went down along with Kyrie. It's not something that you think or you expect to happen. It's just more of like they're getting really bad luck.
Yeah.
But currently, I feel like Max Christie, he stepped up alongside with a couple other role players that have been, doing pretty well, trying to save the season per se.
Yeah, I don't know I think it's a little too soon to call it a failure, like he said, but I mean, next season is almost scrapped because Kyrie tore his ACL, so that's he's not gonna. You're looking at a timetable for his return at least this time next year already. So that's 60 games into the season. So this season and next season is already basically a scrap. But I mean, and they're older stars. Anthony Davis is pushing 32, I believe. Kyrie is pushing 35. So it's a little early to call it a failure, but I think it will end up being a failure. And I think Nico Harrison is honestly probably out the door as the GM.
Definitely.
Because especially since he didn't consult anybody, or he consulted very, very few people, I'll say. So I think he's definitely out the door. Like, this was a really winner go home move,
Right.
and I think he's going home.
And I would say it's honestly time for, the young guys to step up. It's time to get them more minutes because at this point, you're not playing for a championship.
Right.
That's out the question.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it's time for the new players to step up, the young players to step up, and it's time to look in that draft stock and see what we're going to do in the draft this next upcoming year.
Yeah, really just trying to rebuild and just think for the future.
I completely agree, and I heard, Donnie, you talked about the LeBron and Luka duo and how much they're leading the Lakers. The Lakers are looking really good right now.
really good.
How do you all think that they match up with the Thunder and Nuggets, knowing that they are top 2 in the conference right now?
I honestly feel like J.J. Redick, he's playing some really good team. He's coaching some really good team ball, honestly. LeBron is able to play better off ball with Luka Doncic on the team, and he's grabbing more boards. Doncic tossing the ball around more, and they're both averaging 20 plus. And you're not going to get no better than that. So when you have those type of guys playing as your top 2 on your team, everybody around is going to follow around them because iron sharpens iron. So everybody's going to play at a high level when they see 2 of their top guys in the NBA playing at a high level. So I would say that they can compete with anybody they want to this year.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, bro.
I agree with him. I mean, since February 1st, they have the #1 defense in the league. So I really think that's been the biggest calling card for them. Like, with this turnaround, has been their defense. Their defense has been impeccable, really. And I mean, when they played the Nuggets, they held Joker to 12 points on 7 shots. I mean, nobody does that. Like, that's very rare. So I think they can compete with anybody in the West, if you ask me, because it's really been their defense.
Honestly, I feel like, and I understand what you guys are saying, but when it comes down to, that center, that's the piece that they're really missing. Yes, Jackson Hayes, he's aspiring, he's doing well for the role that he has now, but I don't think it's enough to stop Jokic and Aaron Gordon late in the playoffs, if we're being honest. Yes, they're doing really, really well, but I feel like they just need one more piece to really solidify a real run or potential of actually even getting to the finals. That's my take.
And I agree with you on that, but it comes to a point where when you don't have that big man, what can you do to improvise? And that's what J.J. Redick is doing. He's improvising. He's silencing the critic. He's showing them that we don't need a big man.
Yeah.
We got LeBron.
Just
So,
working around it.
Exactly.
Luka and LeBron, I see. Yeah, definitely.
A quick side note, you think he's coach of the year?
I give it to him. If they make the Western Conference Finals, coach of the year, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, it's a possibility. For it to be his first year too, right? Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. They're doing really, really well.
Either him or Chauncey Billups in my top 2 right now.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
That's a very hot topic, and we'll definitely have to go back into that whenever it's time. Now, switching over to NFL. NFL star Myles Garrett has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns, and although the Browns GM, Andrew Berry, insists that they are not trading them, Garrett has declined a contract extension and stood on business regarding his trade request. With the writing on the wall for Garrett's departure, where do you think is the best fit for Garrett, and what makes the most sense? Anthony?
I'll start here.
Yeah.
Lions. Lions. Off the rip, Lions are the best fit. Him and Hutch, that would be best defensive pairing almost in NFL history. So,
NFL history is insane.
That's a crazy take.
That's a crazy take.
I'm willing to say that. Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson on the same team, coming at the same quarterback, that will be dangerous. It will feed families for generations. So that's really all I got to say about that. Just the Lions.
Okay, Donnie?
I actually have 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Commanders, number 1, and I'm
Okay.
gonna explain in a little bit. And I'm gonna go Bengals. Commanders for my first take is because they just got rid of Montez Sweat. They sent him to the Bears, last season? So they're looking for a guy that can take that edge with speed, with power. And that's just going to be perfect for what they're trying to do in Washington right now, especially with the team that they have coming off a NFC championship run. They didn't win, but they were there. That's all that matters, especially with a rookie quarterback. So when you got an offense already and you're just looking to build a defense wins championships.
Definitely.
So, and then the Bengals, I would say the Bengals, Hubbard is gone. Sam Hubbard is gone. Trey Hendrickson, they're offering him the shop now. So now you're missing your left end and your right end, and you're not paying your receivers. So the money has to be somewhere. And I wouldn't mind giving it to a DN that could just take over the whole game by itself.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like the most ideal spot would be the Bills or the Chiefs. Just go somewhere where you can contend, or you just know for sure that you can go deep or you can go far in, possibly winning something. That's from my take.
Okay.
You can go far with the Lions.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if he stays in the AFC North.
No,
just for jealousy.
Just
Just
to get
because
back in.
of
Yeah.
what came out today about the owner declining the meeting.
Trip,
Yeah. So declining that meeting really probably put a chip on Myles Garrett's shoulder, and I'll stay in the AFC North just to play against them.
Just play against you, and y'all not gonna score nothing against me. Nothing past
Not
me,
at all.
right?
But I don't think he really has control over, because I mean, it is still at the end of the day, it's a trade request. So I feel like the front office they still control his destiny,
Right.
kind of. I know he can threaten to sit out and hold out and not all that, not play. But I think at the end of the day, the front office will still control his destiny. Like
That's true.
at the end of the day, they'll take the best offer available.
That's true.
Yeah.
So if that's in the AFC North, great. If it's not,
That's true.
My whole thing is, it's like you guys went 3-14 last year. You get frustrated, especially if you feel like you're the only person on that team like doing well. It's like you don't no longer want to be, or you're just wasting your prime. So I feel like him going to a team like I mentioned before, Bills or the Chiefs, even the Commanders. Jaden Daniels can only do so much, and even getting them there was like a feat, like set alone. So I feel like, I know they don't want to make the move, but they have to in order to, make sure that his career is still, okay.
On top of that, 9 seasons, only 1 playoff appearance.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
ugly. That is ugly.
I feel like
So
you guys are sleeping on the Lions. I mean, I feel like, no, honestly.
The Lions so bad.
Listen though. We have the cap space. We have more than $50 million in cap
Right.
space. We have the draft capital to do it. I think we have, I don't know if we really have the players to do it without, sending like a crazy haul of talent, but I think we definitely have the draft capital and we have the money to take on this contract. So,
but the Bills do too. The Bills has a lot of financial flexibility right now.
but if I were the Browns, why would I want him to stay in the AFC? I know that's not the AFC North, but I would want to get him out the
That's a
AFC
good
completely
point.
if I could.
The Browns not gonna beat nowhere.
That's true.
Switching over to the NFL draft, the NFL draft is looming and a few teams desperately need a quarterback. There are 2 highly touted quarterbacks in this year's draft. If you were a general manager and had the #1 pick needing a quarterback, who would you pick? Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders?
Honestly, I don't know if this is just more of a bias, but I'm leaning towards Cam Ward for sure. I feel like he's very, very poised in terms of, pocket presence, being able to look down the field. But the only thing that I can say about Shedeur, like, he didn't have the same, line as Cam Ward, so it's very hard to decipher which quarterback is better, because it's like he has more assets, he has more to work with. But based off what I've seen, I would go with Cam Ward.
Okay, Donnie?
I'm leaning towards Cam Ward, but you just can't put Shedeur on the back burner.
Yeah.
He's elite on every level, and even without an O-line, look what he did. Like, look how he played. He always
turned
played at an
Colorado
elite
around,
level.
yeah.
Yes,
Well,
he
helped
played at
turn
such a
Colorado
he played at such an elite level, and everything he did, he was poised. He was good about it, and he had a swagger to him. You always need a quarterback that has a swag to him. I feel like nowadays they want quarterbacks to just be quiet and just do what he's supposed to do and just listen to the coach. But you gotta have a quarterback that has a chip on his shoulder and is just ready to play every down. So I'm leaning towards Shedeur.
Okay, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Shedeur too. I mean, last year he had 37 touchdowns, 4,100 yards at a 74% completion rate. I mean, that led the nation. But Cam Ward is he's no sleeper either. Like, it's really a 1A, 1B type of thing. Like, they're really interchangeable. I mean, they work out together. They're buddies like off the field. But I think Shedeur, like they were saying, he had no line last year, and he's improvising everywhere he goes. He has a really strong arm. I mean, I'd say Shedeur.
Okay.
But you can't sleep on Cam Ward though.
Can't.
Right, absolutely. So what team do you think each quarterback may go to with the draft coming up?
With the number 1 pick, if they was to take Shador, it's going to be the Titans
Okay.
because they see a Vince Young almost. So when you got 2 elite quarterbacks like that can move around in the pocket, that can throw a deep ball, that can get you a first down with his legs, I can go either one with the Titans. But the Browns need a quarterback too, and they have the number 2 pick, I want to say?
Yeah, I believe so.
They need a quarterback. They've been needing a quarterback
For a while.
since Baker.
Yeah.
And you let go a good quarterback with Baker.
Yeah.
But, sometimes the organizations just want to do what they got to do. But Browns and Titans, those are the top 2 teams that need a quarterback right now.
Okay.
Bringing it back to what he said specifically about, swagger, I feel like Shador kind of fits, the culture over at Tennessee.
Okay.
So it would kind of make more sense for them to lean towards that, specifically, for the image. So I'd say Shador with the Titans and then probably Cam Ward either with the Giants or the Browns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony?
I agree with him. I think Sanders to the Titans, and I think Cam Ward will probably go to the Browns. I think that fits, so I agree with him.
Do you think that they're both going before Abdul Carter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I say
for sure.
before
Yeah.
Abdul
Yeah.
Carter.
It's a
Definitely.
quarterback. It's a quarterback draft this year. It's a running back draft this year. It is definitely a receiver draft this year. I feel like that they're going to take running backs in the first and second round this year just because of how well they did in the draft. Everybody was a 4-4. Everybody was a 4-3.
Yeah.
There wasn't that many 4 or
Flat
5s. Yeah. So everybody was running and everybody was doing what they were supposed to do in this draft. So I think this might be one of the best draft classes that come out in probably a couple years.
Backing on what he said too, I feel like Saquon really helped shape we really do need running backs
Right.
again.
He
Right.
definitely
So
opened
I feel
running
like
Right.
definitely this is like a running back draft class alongside quarterbacks as well.
back. I do want to say that I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Ward falls to the Giants though, because they have the 3rd pick. I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns went with Travis Hunter at 2. I mean, that's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Travis Hunter.
Or Abdul. Or Abdul. Because
yeah,
now they need a DN.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
but it's like when you have no offense, I mean, you're trying to build a defense.
gotta
You're
pick
at
one.
you're at a crossroads.
yeah,
So.
true.
I'm very excited, just like you said, Donnie. This is going to be one of the best draft class we've had in a while. So
Absolutely.
I am very excited to see how this upcoming draft is going to go. And to always come right here to get our hottest takes on when it comes to the draft. All right, you all, we've been discussing the hottest topics, but now it's time to settle some debates. From legends of the past to today's superstars, who runs the game? Stay locked in. Era Clash is up next. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back and welcome to Era Clash, where we put 2 legendary teams from different eras and put them head to head. Today we've got a showdown between 2 champions, the 2014 San Antonio Spurs and the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks. Both teams dominated their way to an NBA title, showcasing elite ball movement, defensive grit, and superstar performances. The Spurs put on a passing masterclass to dismantle LeBron James and the Miami Heat, while the Bucks, led by Giannis' historical finals performance, overpowered the Phoenix Suns. But what if these 2 powerhouses met on the biggest stage? Who would win? Let's start off with Anthony.
I'm gonna say the 2014 Spurs. I mean, they beat the Big 3 Heat, and I feel like that's really as simple as it gets. Like, they beat the greatest player of all time, the 3rd greatest shooting guard of all time, and one of the most underrated power forwards of all time in the series. I mean, the Bucks were a really good team, but I just don't think they can compete with that, because Giannis at that time, he didn't really have that great of a jump shot yet. So I feel like all they got to do is build a wall, and they would have stopped him. And you can build a wall when you have Kawhi Leonard, Boris Diaw, and Tim Duncan on the back end. So
Definitely.
Okay.
Honestly, I feel like it's not even close. Because when you think about it, the structure of the teams and the way they're made, it doesn't really align. The 62-20 Spurs were really, really good. And like you said, they beat LeBron, the Big 3. That team, everybody already went in, they were gonna, was it a 3-peat or was it 2-peat at the time?
who?
The Miami Heat.
Oh yeah, they had a 2-peat at the time.
Yeah,
Going
so
for the 3-peat.
I'm pretty sure nobody had them or believed in them winning. So that alone, I don't think the Bucks can really contend. One, with their bench, and then also with their starters as well. Yes, Kawhi was young, but he still, stopped LeBron James essentially.
He
So
won Finals MVP too. So
it's not really close in my opinion.
Okay. Brandon.
I'm going to go with the 2014 Spurs as well. They had a lot of defensive versatility, and that was kind of rare at the time for their era. They had Tim Duncan, anchor in the paint. They had Danny Green, who was a good defensive stopper, and then Kawhi Leonard. He was coming to his own, but as he would become later, as we would know, as the Depoy caliber kind of player. And I also believe the Spurs bench was just a lot better than this Bucks. They had Boris Diaw, Patty Mills, who's a sniper. He killed us in 2014 in the Western Conference Finals. Manu Ginobili as well. And they have a lot of experience, a lot of championship experience. And experience is the best teacher. So I feel like, although the Bucks, they had a really good run, even though I feel like they should have lost in the second round to the Nets. But but they did what they had to do. They won. But I believe the Spurs, they're just a deeper team. They're a better team, and they have a lot more versatility positionally than the Milwaukee Bucks.
Definitely. Yeah.
It's tough because I want to argue with you guys, because I like to argue, but I can't even make the argument. I can't even be that delusional and say the Bucks.
And realistically, I don't think they were supposed to beat the Suns. If Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, that's anybody's game. But it kind of put them in a difficult position. So. Okay.
That's fine. That means we just got to get back in the lab and we're going to cook up something better, see if y'all have some differences. All right.
I like that idea.
That's a wrap for today's episode of First Strike. Thanks for tuning in and keeping up with all things FAMU sports, plus our takes on the latest college and pro action. Next time, be sure to join us here for more in-depth analysis, game breakdowns, and everything you need to stay ahead in the sports world. I am Taylor Adams. See you next time.